FC Dallas's Sam Sarver with the celebration of the weekend, a moment that has gone viral over the course of the last 36 hours, and he joins us in studio now as we get back inside the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Sam, welcome to the studio, and what have the last 36 hours been like for you since that moment? That thing has gone everywhere.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like I like open my Instagram, and it's like lagging just from like all the like notifications. Like I like had to like just like turn it off. Like I one of my best friend from home, his parents are like straight from Italy, and so he's very Italian, and this Italian, like one of their most followed like news networks, like followed me. I screenshot like, bro, what is this account? He's like, dude, that's like their version of like the New York Times. So it's like all these accounts are just like following me and stuff, and it's crazy. Like to be honest, I didn't expect it to take off like how it did. But every time like I'll open Twitter or something, it'll be like an account in England posting it, or like an account in France. It's like, look what this guy in the MLS did. So it's been really crazy.
I just need to know, like, was that totally improvised or?
Okay, so here's what's funny.
Run me through the moment.
Okay, so I'll tell you the whole little story. So
Sure.
the scuba celebration first goes way back to when I was in college. I used to be we had a very unique setup in college. Our fans, our student sections, I should say, it was on the sideline. So literally, like, you could probably touch them. That's how close they were. So like they weren't in the fans or the section with the normal parents and all that. We had a very unique setup. And I love getting the crowd involved. So when I would score goals, I would jump into the crowd, the students. And one of my celebrations in college, I stood up on the board, like, and they kind of held me there. I was just like looking over everyone. And my coach, he loved it because I'm a very passionate player, but he was also like, I don't want you to get hurt, be careful. So, and he told me a story about a player years before I played there, probably like 13 years before I played there, maybe 10 years, who did the scuba celebration. And it was super funny, but he was just like, I kind of like didn't yell at him, but I told him like, hey, please be careful. I don't need you getting hurt while you're celebrating. So we were, every away trip, when you get there, you normally go on the field and walk around, feel it, see how it is, see how nice the grass is, whatnot. So I'm looking over there I'm with my teammates, and I see that San Jose has a unique little advertising boards behind their the goal, but it's on the other side. So this was a side that I actually didn't score on. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like talking to my teammates, and I was like, dude, like this would be funny if we did this, because I was just thinking about that story, right? And so San Jose, the way their stadium is set up, they have a very big. It's almost like a beer patio. So the one side of the goal is completely like all the ultras, the really crazy fans, and then the other side of the field is this massive standing room beer, like all the. So it's also for like crazy loving fans, but it's just straight beer and stuff. And so our coach actually had a red card this game, so I was talking to our assistant coach who subbed in to be the head coach.
Oh, perfect.
I had mentioned to my friends back home, to some of my teammates, I was like, dude, like this year for a celebration, I was thinking it'd be at home because our supporter section, they call themselves the Dallas Beer Guardians. So I was like, it'd be funny if I chugged a beer with them, like for a celebration. So our assistant coach was poking fun. He's like, it'd be funny if you score a last-minute winner going that way and you ask a fan for his beer. So
He said this before the game?
before this was literally, it was like the script wrote
What?
itself. Like God wrote
this guy
this
saw
script.
the future.
Like God wrote this script. It was insane. So my teammate,
Your assistant coach called all of this.
yeah, so he was, and then it was Logan and my other teammate Ron. So we were all talking about doing the scuba. So we're all warming up, right? And Ron, while the game's going on, because me and him and Logan, all three of us didn't start. So Ron was like, dude, I feel like one of us is gonna come on and score, and we just have to like make like a promise that we're all gonna do it together. So I come in last. I only played like 7 minutes plus added time, and I get a breakaway. I was like, oh my gosh, it was me and the goalie. I couldn't believe how open I was, and I scored. And I was gonna do it, but then you kind of see me in the video. I kind of slowed down, and I'm pointing. I'm like pointing for them to hurry up, because like So I'm pointing to Ron and Logan to come celebrate, and then we hit the scuba, and So
if you
then
want, we've got the video. We can have you kind of take us through it if we can call it
do some
31.
Let's do some play-by-play
Let's
here.
let you kind of take us through this moment.
Yeah. So I score here, and then I make sure to so the Osaze number 3, he didn't know what we were gonna do, so he thought we all fell just like on accident. See why? So his reaction's genuine because he starts laughing, and he didn't know what we were gonna do, and so I hit the scuba in front of their crazy fans. So mind you, we had talked about me chugging a beer for a celebration, and now they start throwing beers at us in protest of our celebrations, and they're mad and stuff. And I couldn't believe my luck. I was like, oh my gosh, I get to do both these celebrations because a beer just landed at my foot. So I was like, it'd be. I didn't think it was rude to throw a beer at me. I thought it was rude to waste a beer. Yeah. So I was like,
we had a line in college: no beer left behind.
No beer left behind.
Exactly
so I was
right.
like, it's rude to let that go to waste. Let me slam this for them. And then
it looked sudsy.
It was, but it was like.
There was enough in there.
How far did that come from? I mean, that thing came flying in.
It came flying in. Actually, I think you see one of our players go down. I think he got hit by one of them as well.
Yeah, on the shoulder or something.
Yeah. So that's one of our players, Sebastian Mbiaga, telling the fans like, "Yo, relax." So, but my way of getting back at the fans was like, I'm just gonna chug the beer they just threw at me to add insult to injury, I guess.
Part of what made this so great, though, was the camera angle, the way that you just defiantly just stare at all of them after you finish chugging the beer.
I kind of just...
It just brought the whole moment home.
Yeah. So
I see that the beer it looked like it was already shotgun, like it's already pre-punched or somebody had already tried doing it and didn't finish it?
Yeah, because I think when they threw it, it must have got scrunched up, and I was like, it kind of already looks like it was ready to be shotgun. So I just grabbed it like a shotgun, and then I just poured it from the top. And but I literally, like, my coach, he was cracking up because, like, we literally talked about this before the game, and I had mentioned to Selly like a few weeks ago, like, but you don't think you're actually ever gonna do something like that, like what are the odds a beer can just like lands at my foot, you know, like. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
It was predestined.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
And now if we can call up VO32, are you now an official spokesman for Modelo?
Yeah.
You got the whole thing working here.
I was with one of my best friends. He actually coincidentally got a job out here. Like, I got drafted here. He ended up getting a job out here between him and here in Charlotte. I was like, bro, come to Dallas. And I was driving around with him because we went to the mall. And I was like, dude, can you do me a favor real quick? Like, I'm going to stop at this gas station. I'm just going to be a clown. I'm just going to literally take a picture with some Modelo's and then post it. And then it's actually kind of blowing up a little bit. It's got a lot of shares and stuff. And I know Modelo commented on one of the videos, but no sponsorship yet.
Trying to get that collab?
I'm trying to get like a year's worth of beer or something. Like, trying to hook me up.
That's awesome.
So as you've lived through these 36 hours or whatever it's been since the goal, what has been the craziest interaction, craziest moment? Is there something that sticks out to you? Somebody reaching out to you?
There's been a few. Yeah. One of them was actually what I thought was the funniest. Was the player I told you about from Indiana who did it like 15 years ago, the celebration.
Yeah, the scuba.
Yeah, he had a very successful career in the MLS. His name's Eric Zavaleta. He reached out to me. And he was like, anyone who does the scuba celebration deserves a follow. So I put two and two together. I was like, oh my gosh. So I asked him, are you the player that did that? Because Coach Todd Yeagley told me about a player who did that. He's like, bro, that was me. Then he went and showed me the picture of him doing it like 15 years ago. And so that was like a really cool moment. I just had some other MLS guys around the league kind of reach out to me who like are relatively big name players. And like, they're just like, dude, like, you're a legend. And it was like cool, like seeing some of those guys just reach out to me and like, you know, because maybe some of them have never heard of me before that, and that's like the first video they see, like, dude, who's this guy like chugging a beer?
It'll be played at your Hall of Fame induction for sure.
I appreciate that. So yeah, I've had some really cool people reach out, and like I said, also really cool like random accounts following me, like the Italian news outlet. It's like so. That's
wild. So you guys as a team are having a pretty good season to this point, 5th in the Western Conference right now. Where do you guys feel like you are as a team this season? And what's the biggest hurdle for y'all, the biggest goal for y'all in the near term?
I mean, to be honest, like, I think we're the best team in the league. We can hang with anyone. You know, we're not going to shy away from any challenge. And lots of people were saying San Jose was the best team in the league, and respectively, they have the most points, and they set an MLS record this year. They won their first 9 of 10 games. I believe it was the best start in MLS history. So, you know, credit to them, hats off to them. But, you know, when you go into their own backyard and beat them, like, it gives you a lot of confidence. Like, if these guys are the best team in the league, is what the media is saying, of course, then we can hang with anyone, you know? So, and I think we have some of the best players in the league. We for sure have the best striker in the league. I'll stand by that. Congrats to him as well. He just got called up for the World Cup, which is pretty cool for Croatia. And I think we have the best center back in the league with Osaze, and we have great players. And I think last year, it was a little bit of growing pains for our head coach, but now that he's got the pieces to the puzzle, like, you can see the results are flowing. And through the back end of last year, our last 12 games, we were phenomenal. We turned our season around, made playoffs and everything. And, now that Coach Eric Quill has all the pieces he needs, you can see the results are coming in, and I think the club just has a lot of faith in him, which is good. And, they gave him that year to get settled. And now that he has a base foundation of whose role is what, we're really good now. So
yeah, and now all we got to do is get you in the MLS All-Star game. I know the voting's kind of coming down to the wire here next couple of days. What would that mean to you if you got that nod?
Man, I wouldn't even know if I would believe that if I got called into that. That'd be pretty incredible. That's obviously a lifelong dream and a dream for probably every player in this league. That'd be pretty cool. Even if you don't play in it, just to say that you were nominated for it's pretty cool. So.
The MLS season's going to be on pause for the World Cup.
Yes.
So obviously, with a bunch of matches here in town, what are your plans for the World Cup? Are you excited? I imagine you grew up watching it, just like.
Oh, of course,
like
I'm pumped. So we get 3 weeks off. I'm gonna go because obviously I wasn't called to the World Cup, so I get to go home, see some friends and family, which will be really nice, and then. I'm going to come back to Dallas the weekend before we report, just with some of my best friends from home because they've always wanted to see Dallas, and it's nice because I won't have a game, so I can have a good weekend with them and stuff. So that'll be really fun, which I'm really looking forward to.
You going to go any matches, you think, or are you going to watch much of it?
No, I'm actually more I really enjoy going to a sports bar with my friends and watching it on the TV and stuff. Also the tickets are so expensive for so I'd rather.
It's nuts.
Yeah, the tickets are going for a few grand. I'd rather just watch it with my boys and drink some Modelo's.
Yeah, a couple Modelo's at the bar is all you need.
You got to get the Modelo plug in there. I'm curious, though, about because, you're a professional soccer player, right? Is it a little bit weird watching the World Cup because you're seeing guys that they're also professionals?
Yeah.
So how do you watch it, and do you fan or you just enjoy it?
I would say I mainly enjoy it because once you, for instance, we have we have a player, Deedson, he just got called in for Haiti, and Musa got called in for Croatia. So it's more I think it's more cool to just say, oh, these guys, you play with them, and at the end of the day, they're very down to earth, normal people. I know and people idolize professional athletes, but they're very normal people. So I wouldn't say we fan over it. I think we more just enjoy it and appreciate how much of an accomplishment it is because every player's dream is to play in a World Cup. So obviously, when you see your teammates playing it, you feel super proud for them, and you also get to say, yo, I play with that guy, So it's pretty cool.
Did you watch World Cup growing up?
Oh, of course.
What are some memories maybe that you have from that?
Of course. One memory I really have, I remember this goal like it was yesterday. It was Benjamin Pavard. He hit a volley for France, a crazy volley, on a rope into the bottom corner, and that was it was always engraved in my head. I remember where I was when I saw that goal. It's one of them things you just never forget where you were. That was probably one of my bigger memories, just because the goal was so cool. But obviously anytime the U.S. is in the World Cup, I have memories of that too. But I didn't want to be generic with the answer, so I decided to go the goal route with the France one.
What are your hopes for the U.S. men's team this year?
Obviously to win the World Cup is the big one.
Well, of course that's the goal, but what are your expectations for the way the groupings came out? And
I think we have a very talented squad. I know some of the guys personally, and I think they'll get the job done. I think we have a very, very favorable group for us that in terms of how their teams play, I think we'll be fine. And you see it all the time in sports, in the playoffs, anything can happen. So I'm hoping that we will win it all. I'm not going to sit here and say we're not going to win it. What kind of American would I be? So I think we're going to win it.
There it is.
So, and the beautiful part of soccer, and I think what makes this sport so incredible in the World Cup is you don't have to be the better team. You just have to be the better team for 90 minutes, in NBA and MLB, it's hard because it's best of 7 series, so normally the better team advances because you get more shots at it. It's harder to upset teams back to back to back. So that's the incredible thing about soccer. It's just single elimination. If a ball bounces your way for a few times, you're World Cup champion. So my prediction is the U.S. wins the World Cup.
Love it.
Speaking of Cleveland guy, big Cavs fan, we were talking about this before we came on the air. What's your expectations for the Eastern Conference Finals? They going to pull it off and get to the NBA Finals?
For sure. That's also what kind of Clevelander would I be if I say nah, our season's over? So I think especially we just won Game 7 in Detroit, which is a hard place to play.
Yeah.
We're one of the better teams in the league. So For sure. I think they have. I mean, we have all the weapons. We have Hall of Famers on our team. And look what the Pacers did last year. There's teams that can hang with those teams. And I know OKC and the Spurs are kind of the head honchos of the league, but like anyone can beat anyone in sports. So I'm very hopeful for Cleveland.
Are you hoping LeBron comes back for one more year?
For sure. I don't even care if we're good. I think it'd just be cool to see him in the city. Like, we could lose every game and I'd still be a Cavs fan. But I think it'd be very cool to see him retire in Cleveland.
Yeah, that would be pretty special for the city, for sure.
For sure.
Awesome.
And everything he's given us, and I know people have had their hatred towards him for leaving, but he did come back and win us a championship and carry us to 3 straight finals. Even though we only won one of them, it was probably the greatest comeback story in sports. So the city owes him, and I think he also owes the city, I think, one more visit to just retire and hang up everything there, because it's where it started,
Were you pumped about the Hoosiers football championship?
Oh, man.
Let's hear about this, because you did mention you went to IU.
I was a Hoosier. I couldn't even fathom it, because my first 3 years, so historically they're a top 5 worst collegiate football program, and so my first 5 years, we were like a 3-win team. So I maybe saw them win 9 games total in my first 3 years. Sorry if I said 5. 3 years. So then all of a sudden, Kurt Signetti comes in, and he kind of has that big dog mentality. And I remember he's at Assembly Hall, which is our basketball stadium. Incredible atmosphere. And they're kind of introducing him as, the head coach. And our motto is, like, we do not like Purdue. That's our rival school and everything. So, in-state rival. So he gets on the mic, he's like, Purdue sucks, and then everyone starts going crazy. And then when it dies down, he's like, and Ohio State and Michigan suck too, and everyone's like, bro, like, relax. Like, they just beat us by like 60, And then I mean, like, I don't know if there's a better guy or a better example of someone just backing up what they talk. And, he comes in and, he says, well, I win, Google me. And then my senior year, they make the college football playoff. They get bounced by Notre Dame, a really good Notre Dame team that went to the Natty. And what was even crazier to me is, mind you, when a team is not very good, you kind of assume the players aren't good on it, just because that's kind of, they correlate a little bit. Obviously, some teams have incredible players and they just get, stuck on a bad team. But for the most part, you would assume they're not great, especially with Indiana being how bad they were historically. So the football guys were always like the coolest athletes, like we had a good relationship with them. Like, they were all, because we would always report early in the summer for summer workouts and stuff. And so the summer in Bloomington, it's a college town, middle of nowhere. So it was just athletes on campus. So, we would just hang with the football guys in the summer, whatever, like play some cards, yada, yada, yada. And I didn't realize like how much of dogs these guys were, because they were only winning 3 games. I'm thinking, oh, this guy, like he's talking about, like, yeah, I hope to go to the NFL. I'm thinking, like, this is just, and then all of a sudden I see,
like, bro, be real.
Yeah, no, literally. And then all of a sudden I see my boy from 3 years ago who won 3 games. He's starting in a national championship. I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, I didn't know you guys were actually good. I owe them an apology, And I remember, like, me and my college roommate were talking about, he's like, dude, this one of Indiana's best players on defense, we felt like he's one of my friends, so I don't even want to say his name because he'll be like, so we were like, dude, we thought this guy was like just a bench warmer, and he's one of their best players on defense, like, because when he was on like the 3-win team, like I said, you kind of assume they're not the greatest at football, and then he's having a breakout season. They go 16-0, and he's like their second or third best guy on defense. I was like, dude, I like, this kid's a dog. So I literally could not. I'm so happy for them. I shout out all IU football guys. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then actually so we were in Portugal for preseason, and that's when the national championship was. And so it was in January, I believe, and we're looking at I'm like, damn, like, if I want to watch this, because we have training the next morning, and I'm like, what kind of alum would I be if I don't watch the national championship? So I have training in the morning. I'm up till like 4 a.m. watching the national championship, because like I was like, yeah, I'll be tired in the morning, but I will regret not watching this. If I wake 100%. Up to CBS Sports saying Indiana national champions and I decide to sleep through it, I wouldn't forgive myself. So I stay up till like 4 a.m. watching the game. Everyone knows I went to IU, so my coaches kind of asked me like, did you watch the game last night? And I'm like, well, that's a loaded question because if I say yes, am I in trouble? And if I say no, I'm a liar, you know? So I said, yeah, of course I watched it. And it was funny. That was one of the best trainings I've had since I've been here. I was on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And my team, we did
the
like
adrenaline rush.
My team, we did a small-sided tournament for training. My team won every game except one, and we didn't give up a goal until the last game. And it was like, man, I wish IU played in the Natty every day because I'd be balling out. So that was awesome. Like one of the craziest sports turnarounds I've ever seen. My sister also just graduated from IU, so she was there for, like, our campus almost burned down. Like, I saw videos of, like, people climbing on top of bars, like, and it was, like, so hectic. Like, you couldn't even do anything but just, like, appreciate it. So
that's awesome.
That was incredible.
FC Dallas' Sam Sarver having a really good 2026 so far. Yeah. His alma mater won a national championship. His Cavs are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and a Modelo sponsorship is like around the corner. Sam, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in the studio and hanging with us for a little bit.
Thank you.